Welcome to Pat's Cast, the unofficial Regina Pats podcast. I'm Matt.
I'm Chris.
And this is our episode for April 3rd, 2022.
How center Bedard drags, holds on to it, centered across, scores! Logan Linklater with his first as a Regina Pat. Spencer up the boards, held it at the line by Allen. Cross-ice feed intercepted. Here's Connor Bedard shorthanded to the net. Scores! Connor Bedard, number 45. His first career shorthanded goal. 2-on-1 for Winnipeg off the draw. Here's Benson centered. Great save, Drew Sim. He pulled off the spread eagle.
Well, the Pats have played 62 games this season. 24 wins, 38 losses. Good for 53 points. Currently sitting 11th in the East Division, 6 points out of that last playoff spot with about 7 games remaining. We went 1-2 this week, and then 3-7 in the last 10. Not much more to say about it than that, hey?
Not at all. No.
No, it was, it started off, okay, that Saskatoon game was actually not bad. It was well played. There was times there the Pats were really carrying the momentum. Saskatoon's been kind of struggling lately, but that's okay. We kind of took it to them. And
took advantage of it, right?
Yeah, exactly. And that being said, we were still kind of near the end of the game. I mean, it was 3-2 to finish off the game, and at a game that felt like it should have been put out of hand and kind of closed up was allowed them to creep up a little bit closer than we like. I hate that 1-goal lead going into the last few minutes of the third period because it just is not a recipe for success for the Pats
this season.
Like. Yeah. But overall to get that win, kind of maybe hopefully get some momentum going into a tough weekend. PK was playing okay. They had Saskatoon go 0-for on their power plays, and then things kind of okay. Here we go. Let's get some points. Tough game against Winnipeg. We knew it was going to be tough, though. You got one of the best teams in the country rated right now, and boy, it was just really the first versus worst sort of look to it. Hey,
yeah, it was tough. Going back to that Saskatoon game,
I think
one key kind of maybe stat that Kevin Saw pointed out to me after he did the recap. Logan Nyhoff was 23 of 26 on draws.
Wow.
So that's, winning those draws, and so you've got puck possession right off the bat. Like they won 37 overall, and Saskatoon only won 17. Right? That's kind of indicative of how the play goes, right? And Saskatoon only had 3 shots in that second.
Yeah.
And they had to push back in the third, obviously. But, Saskatoon, is struggling. They got some injuries, especially on the back end. And it was good. The Pats took advantage, got the 2 points. Thinking, all right, Winnipeg, it's going to be tough to get a point out of this. And I don't know, I missed most of the first period, but I think maybe they're just a little too passive. They were just gun shy. They didn't want to make a mistake. And I don't know.
We don't have the interviews queued up for this week, but listening to Nyhoff talk about it, he said we can't play the Winnipeg game, right? Like he was just kind of blunt about it and said we don't have that depth and skill, and we kind of got into a track meet with them, and you're not going to keep up with them, really, right?
Yeah, and nobody can keep up with them at this point. But then Moose Jaw does beat them on Saturday after Winnipeg whooped them earlier in the week. It was just like, oh,
yeah,
they had won 13 in a row or something. Like they were rolling.
Yeah. That's maybe a credit to Moose Jaw, though. I don't know. It's obviously the Pats don't have that level, right? Just giving up 7 goals, it's just that's tough. And from what they said, they were kind of just wanting to get past this game though and move on to the next. And do you even learn anything from that Winnipeg game? Like, are you just like, we're just not that caliber? You just move on, right?
Yeah, and you got to focus on PA because that's a critical game. Not that the Winnipeg game isn't, but the PA one is like, this is a must win. You can't let them get 2 points. You have to have 100%. These 2 points. It's a team you should be beating. right in your wheelhouse, and then they didn't show up.
Just flat, like just a chippy, rough playoff style game, and the Pats got caught up in the chippiness and got away from the game, and it was hard to watch too. You're just sitting there, you're like, okay, this is a huge game. You put it on, and it's just like, okay, it's close for a little bit. We get that Bedard gets that break, and you're like, okay, like this is it. Maybe you can kind of get something rolling. You take some penalties at the end of the second and into the third, like
that cost them right there.
Yeah, like it was actually fairly okay going into the third. You thought, okay, we can get something going, and that was it.
Yeah, you get the power play, and then so you got a minute 20.
Yeah.
On Vitelli's power play, a minute 20 left in the period. You're down 3-1. You score here. It's 3-2 going into the break. It's not a terrible situation.
Yeah.
And then Dubinsky takes a tripping penalty. Now, I mean, it could be debated.
I would debate that quite hard. That was a brutal call, I thought. It was just awful. Just right off the face-off. And it was actually Cale Sanders just dove like...
It was normal face-off interference where the guy, you kind of get in his way. You don't want him to go get back to the point as fast as he can, right? You kind of just, okay, I'm going to get in your way, and then you kind of just fell down, and then boom, there goes your power play.
Yeah.
And then I don't know whatever happened at the end of the period. I missed it, but Bedard takes a penalty.
Yeah. At
the 20-minute mark, and then you start the third on the penalty kill instead of having a power play.
Yeah, and you give up a quick one, and then it was just downhill from there. Like it was, went quickly after that, and it's sad. I mean, I remember starting the start of the season, it was like I think we can make at least the playoffs this year, right? Like,
I don't think we were expecting too
a
crazy
run or anything. First round, even whatever, just something. And it just the team just looks. We played that clip last week, and it was talking about being lost and just rudderless and a whipped dog, and a bit of life in that Saskatoon game, but I don't know. You're playing for it. This is it. Like your season's done if you didn't win these games, and
like
to show up like this, it's just rough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you'd like to see a little more fight in that PA game. Winnipeg, understandable. I can take that loss, but the PA game, even not. I mean, if they lost 3-2 or whatever, like a tight game, you're like, damn, they were in it.
Yeah.
They had a chance, but 6-1, like, come on, like.
Well, it just felt like after they gave up that goal in the third, and then they went down 4. Yeah, in the third, and they went down 4-1. It was just lights out after that. Like, just, yeah.
So, I don't know. Let's maybe bring it up a bit. Bedard back on the goal train. 45 for the season.
Yeah.
Ties the Pats record as a 16-year-old. Jeff Friesen did it in 92, I think it was. But
is it that long ago?
Yeah. I know.
I remember watching him play.
Yeah. I mean, another thing I was thinking of, like, man, he had such a big long point streak. Like, is he in conversation for MVP? Like league MVP?
I mean, it goes back, and it's been in discussions in the NHL too, when the Oilers suck and you have McDavid that's killing it, or do you go just by like the purest definition, the most valuable player, like basically the best player, right, in the league, right, is kind of what MVP is, regardless of team success. Do you take the team kind of totally out of it, and is it just like who's the best player out there, the most valuable to their team?
See, that's the thing. Okay, so there's the MVP, and like most valuable to their team. That's so subjective, right?
Yeah.
Like you talk about Edmonton. Okay, well, what about Draisaitl? Like he's right there with. So do they split votes, or like what happens there? Like they both, either of them can win it if they were on another team, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
How do you pick one over the other? So then you go to leagues like, say, the CFL, they go MOP, most outstanding player.
Yeah.
See, they get rid of that valuable
And I think I think these whatever league or whatever it is, the most outstanding. They just still call it MVP, maybe out of tradition or whatever. But
yeah,
I don't how you don't. He's got to be right in that conversation.
He's near the top in points, and he's 16. Like Savoy's right behind him at 17, at 32 goals, 52 assists. Like Krinkovic, Stankoven, Ben King, and Arshdeep Baines. Those are all older guys ahead of him.
Yeah.
Right. So the next kind of younger player, Jaeger Furkis out of Moose Jaw, he's down at 10th. But like you kind of take that in consideration, right? They're not, I'm going to say on unequal terms, but they are kind of, right. You look at Baines, he's 20. Bedard, Savoy, they're 16, 17.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and he's 3 points behind King, or 3 goals behind King for the lead there. And he's got a few more games here. He's ramp it back up. He was on that killer hot streak.
If you're going to say the most valuable player to the team, like he's by far and away. If we didn't have him, oof. Right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Look at the Red Deer guys, like top 2 scorers. You take one of them away, they're still doing okay.
Yeah.
Right? But yeah, it's.
Yeah. So, do you change the terminology and the kind of mindset to more the most outstanding? He's got to be up there too, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or do you? He's maybe not. Yeah, I would say so. We have that bias, right? We've seen him play every game, and
right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I mean, he's getting lots of love from the league and stuff, so people are seeing his highlights.
Yeah.
Obviously, right?
Yeah, and there's a little bit that goes into that too, I think, right? Like some of the PR side of it, I think you can build this guy up and start making it a storyline. That has, or is it voted on? Is it voted on by
it?
Media?
Yeah, I'm not even sure. I have to look
into that. It's not voted on by us. We haven't got us. But like that's how whatever baseball and football and stuff do it, right?
It's a local media.
Yeah, they
all vote.
So, yeah, I don't know how it's actually chosen. That'd be interesting to know.
Yeah, and Howe's third in rookie scoring behind Savoy and Nico Huhtinen as well. So he's up there. I mean, he'll get some consideration, but
yeah. I would say if they give it to Bedard, they won't give a second award to the Pats.
No, I don't think Howe's going to get it, but
no.
I mean, with Savoy being a rookie, right?
Yeah. Fair
I mean, he's
it's BS.
32 goals, 52 assists. Hootenen's got 36 goals, 39 assists. So I mean, Savoy is, being on Winnipeg, it's not hard to rack up points.
Yeah.
You got Benson on Winnipeg. He's 5th at 59 points.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he looked good last year in the hub. Benson really looked good.
Yeah.
So.
Well, the playoff. Anything else you want to say about those games this week?
Not much. No, not really.
Well, moving into next week. So at Brandon on Tuesday, at Swift Current on Friday, and then PA in town on Saturday. Nothing short of winning every single game, almost. Is what you now.
If you don't win all these games, I think you have to win all these games, and you need help to get in. So it's what did Kevin say? The nails in the coffin. Just not the hammer. Waiting for the hammer. That's what it was. Yeah. So
I mean, it's waiting now.
It's mathematically still possible, but how possible that is very, very slim.
Mm-hmm. Like I was saying, it was if the team was like 7-3 in their last 10, and you really had that momentum, you might be thinking, okay, let's roll. Let's see if we can get this. But
I know they were just in the playoff position
not
2
long
weeks ago, right?
Yeah. It's just falling off. Like the teams that are fighting for, like PA, Swift Current, Calgary, like they're Lethbridge, they're winning games, right? They're winning here and there, and it's just
You look at Lethbridge, 6 wins, Swift Current 6 wins, Calgary 5. PA's only got 4 in their last 10, and then Regina's got 3.
Yeah.
So You got the worst record out of those 5 teams. So that's not going to. You can't make any ground up.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't really have much more to say this week.
No.
Well, I mean, it'd be nice to see if Bedard get that. He should get another goal in the last games here. And,
Does he hit 50? I mean, two against Winnipeg. That's gonna be tough. Like he didn't have much going on against Winnipeg. So you got Brandon Swift Current, PA, and a Moose Jaw game. Does he hit 50? Like he was rolling. I thought for sure he's gonna get 50. He's kind of said a little bit of a slump here, but for his standards, that'd be pretty sweet if he hit 50.
I think he could. I think he might. I don't want to say play more selfishly, but now that we're out of it, he might just kind of turn it on and maybe take a few extra shots here and there, right?
Yeah, I think he's leading the league in shots already. But
well, you know what I mean? Like maybe
I know.
Not make that pass, even though man, his passing's so good.
Like the Linklater goal. Oh man,
just beautiful.
Like that was
even
the one. It was Feist. It was shorthanded.
Yeah.
And he was surrounded. He flipped over Feist, and Feist it was just a bouncing puck, and he didn't get a great shot off. But man, Feist has had all the time in the world coming down that left side, and I think he didn't realize he had that much time, and he could have settled the puck down, maybe made a move, but he took the shot, and it is what it is. But man, he just drew guys in, and then he just found them, and that Linklater pass,
that was
outstanding.
Nice. Yeah. I think he hits 50 though. We got
all right.
He could do it in a couple games.
Yeah, no, for sure. He only needs 5.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's got.
But good point against Winnipeg, man. They shut him down.
Yeah,
they shut him. I think he had 2 shots. They said that game. He had one in the first period, and then one not till late in the third or something. So
2 shots. That's it. Well, when you only have 7, what was it? 17 total. Yeah.
Yeah.
For a team, he averages 5 or 6 alone, regularly.
Yeah. Anyways, let's hope for that. Let's all cheer that on. I think I jinxed that game because I brought the hat trick hat.
To Winnipeg?
I don't know. I keep forgetting it, so I was like, I remembered it this time. Then,
I would have been surprised if we scored 3 goals, let alone.
I know. A
hat trick.
I'm gonna keep bringing it. Hopefully, I get to throw it by the end of the year. Only 2 more games, home games. People get out, get to see Bedard at least
this year. Yeah,
we won't get into that one. Maybe that's for another time. All right, everyone.
Good night,
have
folks.
a good night.